I love pulling in. I love the arches. I love walking around the campus. I love the young men that say, "Good morning, Mrs. Freeman," or open the door for me, or take their hat off.
Trying to get into college, because where I was in public school wasn't leading me anywhere where I should be.
Before he came here, life was just a party and fun with not a whole lot of forethought to anything beyond tomorrow.
Back in my old school, my teachers were, just there. They were a voice and a book.
It just started to change his life. He started seeing his potential on a whole different level.
It really changes your outlook on life because you just feel accomplished at the end of each day.
When I see my son now, I think you're ready for the world.
He's taken every opportunity that's been given him at Fork Union, and he's made the very best of it. And because of it, he's gotten a presidential scholarship to go to Georgia Tech. He's going to study engineering. He's going to do great things in his life, I've no doubt. And I have to give a lot of the credit to Fork Union.
I got my son back. I got my son back in a way that I knew what was in him. I got respect. I got honor.
Before I got here, I was just another one of the kids who just fell into the line of, well, if it's the new trend or it's the new thing to do, then I'm going to do it. But now I just feel like I'm way more of an individual.
He's more confident in just the way he carries himself. And he's discovered that he's more than he thought he was.
Very farmy, very rural, very nowhere to me. Where we live, it's pretty busy, pretty city, pretty fast. It's pretty slow here.
There's no distractions. That's what we love about it. It's out in the country. They can focus in here. There's not the big town, the urban setting, and all those things that attract the kids, that distract them from doing what they need to be doing. Here, it is school, and Fork Union is it. The structure and discipline, I think, is one of the biggest things that he needs, and we felt that he needed in his life, that the other school systems, even though they were great, and they had academics and other things, just didn't offer the total package that we found here for our son.
We really do have an environment where success is part of the culture. It's part of our expectations for our students, and it's part of their expectations for themselves, especially as they begin to experience success. We all know that the positive achievement is really the only origin for self-esteem is positive achievement. It doesn't come from a teacher saying, "You're a great guy, gee, I wish you'd done better."
It showed me that I needed to work harder, that nothing's given to you. Because back at my old school where, I could just coast through and just get by, you can't do that here. If you try to coast through, then you won't last. And it shows that you always have to be on your A game.
They're all equal here. They all have the same clothes on. They all have to get up at the same time. No one's treated any different than the other ones.
We learn to identify with people not by, the color of their skin, not by the kind of clothes they wear, the people who they associate with, but something more, way more than skin deep, and that's like, their personality, And when you come here, it's just really comforting to know, like, hey, I can identify with these guys.
When we remove those distractions, including the clothing and all of those false senses of who we are as people, and we dress everyone in a similar fashion, all you have to measure yourself by is your performance.
It shows that it's more in life than clothes. I mean, here I have like serious things to worry about, such as my grades and what am I going to do with my life, and they're worrying about clothes and not the important things that are going to help them later on in their future.
Who shows him? Who tells him what to say? Apparently, I think one of her. I think he had more than one son. Who else arrives there?
Big thing is accountability here. We have a structure that provides accountability. So the young man has freedom to make choices, but it's freedom within boundaries. And as a result, whether he's in the barracks, whether he's on the athletic field, whether he's in the classroom, he's held accountable. And as a result, he's forced to respond to that.
There's no excuses, no leniency. This is what you're supposed to do, get it done. And at first I didn't like that, but then now that I think about it, I like it a lot more because it helped me responsible. It made me become responsible to everything that I did, and I like that now. I don't want anyone to hold my hand. I don't need anyone to hold my hand, and 4Q taught me that.
You can't be a good student if you don't have your pencil. You can't be a good student if you haven't done your homework. You're less likely to achieve your academic goals if you're unprepared. And so we give you an environment where we're mandating your preparedness, if you will. And over time, students begin to realize the benefit of being prepared and how that ties directly into academic achievement.
Your writing notes, research notes, take those out.
The one subject plan, as I always refer to, is the best kept secret here. One subject at a time. I don't think that my son could have achieved his academic level without that.
I taught in public school for about 5 years before coming to Fork Union, and I might be responsible for an upwards of 150 students on the low end. At Fork Union, with the one subject plan, I might be responsible for, on average, 15 students, which is huge in comparison.
I have a class right now of 10 in geometry, and I know each of their names, I know them well. So not only do I hold them accountable, but I know them as people, and we get to talk about more than just geometry. We get to work together, and so they know that it's not just, I'm not just holding them accountable out of meanness or spite, but it's because I care about them.
I think film really pushes guys to look deeper into things. Guy might get hooked on one class that he really likes, and the teacher just push him and push him and push him, and then lo and behold, he ends up with a scholarship at a 4-year university.
You're also not juggling 6 or 7 classes as you do in public school. I remember my freshman year in public school, that half a year, when I had 6 classes, every now and then it'd come a Friday where I have 2 or 3 tests to take in that one day.
They'll say, I really like just focusing on one class at a time. At my public high school, having 5 and 6 classes, they felt overwhelmed.
My grades have improved dramatically. I mean, I came on this campus with a 2.5. I'm now going to graduate with about a 3.4.
I didn't study at home. Like, I wasn't being challenged in class. Like, I could get a B without studying, never coming home, picking up a book. And here, it's actually, my classes are actually challenging. I actually have to do my work. And I realized, man, this is actually working for me. Like, I'm actually achieving something going here, and it's actually going to work out for me. I mean, I know I'm not going to ease my way through college, so I'm getting prepared right now.
You meet a lot of different type of people here, just living with them in the barracks and kind of being in the same environment with them. You see them every day. You're going through the same thing. You know, you have a lot of common grounds.
The bonds you make here, you'll keep in touch with these guys for decades, I mean, because the bonds are that tight.
It's more of a community to me. I mean, at school, you go there and then you go home, but Fork Union, you're there all the time. So I think of it more as a community.
I'm a firm believer as a pastor that love conquers all, that in order to bring forth the potential, love have to be there. And that's one of the foundations that FUMA have built on.
When the bell rings at the end of the day, that's not where my interaction stops with them. You'll see them running by our house in the evening, stop and say hi. They know our dogs, they know my son. I know their families, their stories. Our lives, our homes, and our hearts are open to them whenever it's needed.
I sleep very good at night knowing that he's here. I probably worry less about him being here at Fork Union than if he was home.
I love going to graduation, to the military ball, and kind of seeing those monumental experiences that come at the end of their high school career that kind of mark a place in time, and you know that you're part of those memories that they're making here. You see that they're strong, they're confident, they have a purpose, they talk with fervor and meaning, and like to feel that I played a part in that in some way.
It's just so much fun to watch them go through the college application process, watch them get their acceptance letters and hold them up, and they come into our offices and they say, look what I got. And we just embrace them and say, you did this, you got that. And so really, it's so rewarding for us to have our graduates come back and say, you know, if I hadn't come to Fork Union, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know what my goals would have been if I hadn't been here. So the kids do it themselves. And we're just active participants, yes, but at the end of the day, they're going to walk across the stage, they're going to get their diploma from Fork Union, we're going to shake their hand, give them a hug, shed some tears with them, and bid them Godspeed.
My brother.
It's a warm, pleasant place to be. The chapel's beautiful. I feel God's spirit here. There's good things happening at Fork Union.
I think Fork Union is doing more than changing lives. They're changing families by changing an individual life through a cadet. They make the kids more spiritual and accept the spirituality that we all need to have in our lives, but it helps them mold it into everyday life, and not just Sunday, but everyday life. So I think it does change individuals and it changes families for a long time.
Behold him there, the risen Lamb, my perfect, spotless righteousness, the great unchangeable I am, the King of glory and of grace. One with himself I cannot die, my soul is purchased by his blood, my life is hid with Christ on high, with Christ my Savior and my God, with Christ my Savior and my God. One with himself I cannot die, my soul is purchased by his blood, my life is hid with Christ on high, with Christ my Savior and my God, with Christ my Savior and my God.
When you come to Fork Union, you start with a clean slate. And you get to write your own story. Whether it's a success or not is simply up to you.
FUMA can open the door for you, but it's you at the end of the day that has to walk through it.
It's going to change the employee that they will be. It'll change the student that they will be in college. It'll change the father that they'll be, the husband that they'll be.
It's time to think about the future and stop thinking about now.
The most important thing is that men leave here. Good men, strong men leave here. And I think that's a great story.
Just a wonderful opportunity here at FUMA. And when I look at all of that, it makes me very proud as a father.
He's become more than what I ever dreamed that he would be. And I had big dreams for him. So, I don't know, I can't say more. I mean, you just have to meet him.